Hello guys, I am your host Sid and I am presenting you some lesser-known facts about the characters of One Piece anime. Please subscribe and comment for any other anime. Most of you have watched One Piece and already know about Blackbeard. Some lesser-known facts about him are that it inspired from a real-life pirate. So, just relax and watch the video. Blackbeard or Edward Teach, c. 1680-1718, is one of the most infamous pirates to have ever lived. Known for his fearsome image and daring acts on land and sea, throughout the West Indies and along the North American East Coast. His legacy has been the inspiration for many depictions of pirates throughout history. Little is known of Edward Teach before his rise to pirate captain. It is thought he began his life at sea as a British privateer in the War of Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1713. Here, he would have plundered Spanish ships in the West Indies for the British government. After the war, his privateering turned to piracy under the instruction of Captain Benjamin Hornigold. Rising through the ranks due to his naval skill, Teach soon became a captain in his own right. Blackbeard's ship. Around 1716, Captain Hornigold placed Teach in command of a captured sloop, and a year later, Teach took control of a frigate, possibly a 1710 Bristol-built ship named Concorde. It is thought Concorde was stolen by French privateers, who used as a slave ship and renamed it La Concorde. Finally, it came into the possession of Teach, who renamed the ship Queen Anne's Revenge. This became his flagship vessel. While the ship was only in use for a year, Teach sailed to the Caribbean and captured multiple ships, building his flotilla and fortune. Few could compete with him and the Queen Anne's Revenge, which boasted 40 guns and a crew of 300. In 1718, Blackbeard scuttled the ship near Charleston, North Carolina, and moved his crew onto a smaller sloop, named the Adventure. In 1996, the remains of the Queen Anne's Revenge were discovered offshore of Atlantic Beach in North Carolina. The ship was identified by a series of coins bearing Queen Anne's bust, 1702 to 1714, and her successor, King George I. After over 10 years of excavations and underwater archaeological digs, the divers have now recovered more than 250,000 artifacts from the ship. These findings included huge cannons from all over Europe, from Sweden, England, and France. Many of these items can now be found at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. How did Blackbeard die? Edward Teach died on November 22, 1718. His exploits had become too bold, and he had angered Alexander Spotswood, the governor of Virginia. Spotswood assembled a private pirate hunters to overpower. How did Blackbeard die? Edward Teach died on November 22, 1718. His exploits had become too bold, and he had angered Alexander Spotswood, the governor of Virginia. Spotswood assembled a private pirate hunters to overpower Blackbeard's forces. The main pirate hunting ships were the HMS Pearl and HMS Lime, under the command of Lieutenant Robert Maynard. Teach and Maynard are reported to have fought man-to-man with pistol and swords. Teach was eventually wounded by one of Maynard's soldiers and overwhelmed by the rest of the crew. After the battle, it was noted Edward Teach had been shot at least 5 times and received over 20 blade wounds, making it difficult to tell what was the felling blow. The head of the infamous Blackbeard was hung from the mast, and all but 2 of the captured pirates were eventually hanged.